Welcome to the fourth and final part of the XC70 Fire Lookout road trip. Here's a quick recap and then we'll get right into it.
So I am going to give you a ticket for speeding. Oh no, okay, new plan.
We've got to hike 10 miles today, not just 6.
This tower might not be achievable.
Good morning, I did not sleep all that well.
This is some of the most fun I've had driving, period.
Oh.
They say the reason it's closed to the public is because it's no longer safe to climb.
Really nice to see one that's actually active.
Look at that thing. Last week I left you all on a cliffhanger. The XC70 died right after I started it. Let's see if it'll start up.
That's mildly concerning.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen again. Let's get right into the episode. This is my favorite one of the 4 because it has some of the most extreme off-roading that I've done in the XC70, plus quite a bit of tension. I nearly give up before visiting all the lookouts. How about I stop talking about it and we just get started watching it?
I was a little reluctant to start there. I guess we'll hit the road. We have about 7 miles, give or take, until we hit the lookout this morning, and then we'll be doing about 200 miles until we hit the next one. And I need to remember to look up geocaches because we are leaving South Dakota permanently after today.
Just up there, you can see the mountain we were camped on. Of course, now we're driving along the road that we were looking down on from up there. 3 miles. So far, this road also looks really nice. I was expecting it to deteriorate, kind of like yesterday's road. We'll have to see if the person on duty is even awake at this point. It's kind of early still, 7 o'clock. It's quite a lot shorter than the radio tower, but I just barely see it peeking out over the trees. The sun is looking crazy this morning. I'm gonna drive pretty slow and try to be really respectful in case the lookout staff is still sleeping. Wow, this is pretty freaking surreal looking with the sun in the background.
It is so windy out there, I really don't know how this is gonna go. The wind is strong enough that I can't even get it to fly forwards right now. I gotta return this thing to home. This is all the drone photography we get.
All right, I have not seen any activity up at the top of the lookout. I guess we'll just walk over and look around on foot. I'm not seeing any activity up there, and it seems really intrusive to go up to the platform and potentially see someone sleeping up there. So I'm not gonna do that, but I might try to go up to the last landing before the platform. Okay, before we leave, we've got to go find a geocache. Unlike Wyoming, I'm pretty sure I don't have South Dakota yet, so this one will be needed. It's further down here than I thought, but still not too bad of a walk. Oh. Something is beeping. I really hope it's not something I did. I think it's a truck here to pump the sewage. You know, I did just realize that the lookout on staff would probably have a vehicle up here. So maybe she headed into town for the night or something. Needed groceries, I don't know. All right, we've got a little under 3 hours till gas, and then another 30 minutes to 45 minutes until we hit dirt, and then we'll be heading up to the next lookout. Say goodbye to our campsite one last time. We've made it back to the highway. We've got quite a ways to go here, and good news, the wobbling that we were experiencing yesterday is completely gone. If I had to guess, I'd say some mud got into one of the wheels and all those washboards probably knocked it out. I have noticed in the winter that this car's wheels do tend to collect snow pretty badly. As we look at the fire lookout out our window, we did leave South Dakota for the last time on this trip. I believe there are 1 or 2 lookouts left up in the northeast corner of this state, so we will be back at some point, but I don't know how long. We
Putting a stop sign, a four-way stop in the middle of two highways is freaking wild. This is crazy, man. Put up a traffic light. You already put up the stupid posts for the stop sign flashers. Diabolical, man. All right, another hour 45 till we get to the gas station.
Proprietary technology, such as Siri and Alexa.
This must be where the asphalt plant is. These are the asphalt trucks we saw earlier. It is not looking good for views from the upcoming lookouts. The smoke is just getting worse, and unlike the fog we saw the other morning, it does not go away throughout the day. We're only about 5 minutes away from fuel, and then we've got a bit longer till we hit the dirt again. We're coming into the town of Glendo, which is a population of 237, and we're gonna top off the gas can and the car with fuel here, and then head back off into the wilderness. Alright, now we are going to get on the interstate for a few exits, and we have about half hour till we hit dirt again. Man, it is smoky today. I think we're going to get to this tower before noon even. It's not even 11 yet, and we're just about to hit dirt. I was tempted to continue on and visit some more towers today, even though that wasn't the plan. But according to the weather forecast, it might be not as smoky tomorrow, so now I'm kind of tempted to wait it out. I'm not sure what the right decision is. The wobble at high speed is back, by the way. One of the wheels just apparently is no longer balanced. I'm gonna try and take a look today, but I don't know if we'll get anywhere. We got about 8 miles on this dead straight road until we turn off right onto what I think is where the dirt starts. I almost think we're gonna have to hang out and hope that the smoke clears by tomorrow, because it's so bad, and we do have the time. We are approaching our turnoff, and I'm just barely starting to see some hills emerge in the distance. I really didn't think it through when I planned this in September about it being fire season. We're gonna be on dirt for just about 150 miles now, I think, so I am going to air down the tires so we get a more comfortable ride here. Cows! 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 I almost feel like I'd be able to see the lookout by now if it was clear out, but it's just so smoky. Like, it could be up on one of those mountains up there that you can barely see through the smoke, but I just wouldn't be able to tell. Whee! See, what makes me want stiffer coils in the back is that the front went up and was like boom, and then the rear went like all the way down and then kind of bounced back up a little bit. It's just overloaded. Like, that could be it up there. I just can't tell through the smoke. We are turning off onto a less maintained road, it looks like. And then a bit further here, we are going to go back onto public land. So this is a camp. I have us routed through the camp. I hope we can go through. According to my map, the road goes through. I do keep seeing these signs, but usually that means don't trespass to either side of the road. Like, the road is still public, but it's going through private property. Oh, I haven't seen a soul here. I really don't know if I'm supposed to be here. All right, I think we're good, but man, this road has been gnarly, and apparently we have 3 more miles of it. Okay, this is kind of nuts. There was a speed limit 15 sign back there. Like, who the hell's going 15? I'm barely even making 5. That was crazy, man. I didn't even scrape. Man, this is quite the departure from the last 2 towers, isn't it? Oh my God, speaking of. I can't believe this car is doing this. This is more than I did in Moab, I think. I just checked, and apparently we have another 1,200 feet to go up in just over 2 miles.
We might end up hiking the last part of this. I don't know how high my risk tolerance goes. I cannot believe the rate at which we are getting closer. It just is one obstacle after another that doesn't seem possible, but then it does it. It's gonna do this. What the hell? I mean, I could barely even stay upright on this. I think we can safely say we're taking a Volvo where no Volvo has been before. Happening? God damn, we've made it. Well, I have bad news. Obviously, it'd be dead simple to bypass it, but it says there might be an active lookout up there, though I don't know where their vehicle would be. For now, I think I need to rehydrate, just chillax, regain all the sweat that I lost on the way up here, and enjoy the views from down here. And then we might try to go up there. And I've got to rehydrate and de-stress. Gonna sit here in the shade for a few minutes. All right, I'm a little rehydrated now. I am gonna holler up here and see if there's any lookout on duty, but it looks like the windows are boarded up, so I don't know what they'd be looking out for if they were. Is there a lookout on duty? Anyone up there? I'm definitely not gonna go up to the top, and if I were going to, it's definitely not up on Patreon because it didn't happen. I just don't do illegal things on this channel, but over on Patreon I also don't, so you definitely shouldn't go check to find the video where I hop this fence, because I don't do that. Well, that was totally not ridiculous because I didn't go up there. Well, moving on from me not climbing up there, I haven't seen any signs forbidding it, and I think if we camp up here, then maybe the fog will be cleared tomorrow as the weather forecast suggests. So I think that's the plan. I just had to find a place to do it. Honestly, I think this might be our best tent pad right here. Man, I am beat. It's just mentally exhausting coming up this trail. I wish I could tell you this was a beer, but they did not have any beer at that gas station, so I've run dry. Well, I sat in the shade over there and enjoyed the views, but now I think I'm a little bored, so we're gonna go explore, climb on some rocks, because I like climbing on rocks. And maybe even if we climb over these rocks up here, we'll actually be able to see from the other side of the mountain without climbing up to the lookout. If we were anywhere closer to civilization, I'd have a little more fun doing some bouldering, I guess. But if I break an ankle, it's gonna be a very long and miserable drive back to the hospital. I don't know if you can see it, but that road down there, that's what we're gonna be driving out on tomorrow, if we can make it down. And I wasn't kidding when I said we have like 150 miles or more on dirt from when we left the pavement. Man, that is a lot of solar over there. Well, I would say we've experienced this rock. Let's go to the rock up there behind me. Do I need to get into rock climbing or something? That's basically what I'm doing, but really easy.
You know, based off of vibes alone, I would say that the smoke is clearing up a little bit. Maybe we will be able to see this thing tomorrow. Not the thing, the view. All right, I think I've had enough of the wind. I think I'm gonna head down. It's so windy.
Well, I've been hanging out in the car because it's just so windy out here. It's just miserable, but I think the sun might have recently set or be setting soon, so I figured we'd go take a look. Well, it's just behind a cloud. Tune back in later. Okay, it's cold and windy. Back to the car, man.
We're supposed to just do canned soup tonight, but I don't know if I'm gonna get the motivation to actually make it. It's just so windy out there, and I'm not that hungry. I just sat in the car all day mostly.
All right, the sun has set, and I think it's time to pitch the tent. There shouldn't be anyone else coming up here. I just didn't want to have that interaction, like, oh, you're camping up here, you know? So, but there shouldn't be anyone else. Let's get the tent set up and hope it doesn't blow off the cliff. I did have another look at tomorrow's route, and the first two lookouts looked to be easy, just gravel roads, and then the third one, the road is marked the same as this one, but the satellite looks a lot better, and it's about half the elevation over the same distance. That said, I don't want to dilly-dally just in case it is really bad, so we're not gonna have any time for sitting tomorrow. Oh boy. So according to my phone, it's actually supposed to get down to 43 degrees tonight. So I'm doing a little extra warmth, including the mummy bag and this sleeping bag liner. I don't know if I'll need them, but I don't want to have to go to the car to get them. On a similar vein, I'll probably unfortunately have to leave these little vents closed, so I won't have any view, but that's okay. Man, I can't believe how much footage of me naked I'm gonna have on my hard drives. All right, I guess that's all I've got for you tonight. I will see you again tomorrow morning. Good night. It's just about midnight and I've barely gotten any sleep just because it's so windy. The tent just, you know, is trying to blow out from under me. Case in point, I think the smartest thing to do at this point is to try to tear it down and stuff it in the car and try to get some sleep in the driver's seat. At least it'll be quiet in there. All right, I'm gonna try and get a few more Z's. I don't know how it's gonna go. At least it's nice and quiet and pretty warm in here. Good night again. Do you hear that? Yeah, me either. As soon as I sat down in here, not more than 10-20 minutes later, the wind seems to have disappeared. It's really freaking cold, man. Ugh. Best part, it doesn't even look like it's any better visibility out there. We might have swapped smoke for fog, or it might still just be smoke. All right, well, the best way to warm up is going to be to get in the car and get moving, but before we do that, let's take a look around before we leave. Overall, I'd say we can see about the same, though it looks like the sunrise is going to be very pretty. UTVers. Not sure why they brought a UTV when they could have just brought the family station wagon, but you know, to each their own. just like that, we made it. I love this car. Not to jinx myself, but it is time to have part of a healthy breakfast. Got a chocolate peanut butter Cliff Bar as well as a Guru Zero strawberry watermelon. That's pretty good. I like my Self-Some artificially flavored watermelon. That's fine, it's Cliff Bar. We can get a few last views at the old lookout. That one's really cool. If you have any sort of off-road capable vehicle or a side-by-side and you're ever in Wyoming, I think that's my favorite lookout. By the way, if you want those GPX files, they are available on my Patreon, so you can follow the exact route that I took. All right, back to the video. Looking at the map is really interesting. We're currently weaving through a valley of private properties, which I suppose is the main reason this road exists. It really is beautiful out here, just in a different, rockier way than from at home. We are coming up to a highway, which we do have a short stint on before we turn right back off of and head down to gravel. I think my wallet is still in the tent. Success! Yeah, thinking the smoke was going to clear up. In hindsight, it was a little bit of a pipe dream. And just a short 20 miles later, we made it back to dirt. I just took a look at the GPS and it says we are almost to 8,000 feet again. That's where we camped. That's where that last lookout was at, 8,000 feet elevation. So this next one must be higher. Still got a ways to go, but these roads are pretty well maintained, so we're making good progress. Officially over 9,000 feet. We are coming up to our turnoff here, where we're gonna be climbing up the mountain. And the road immediately got worse. Hey, it's still better than yesterday. I think we're gonna crack into 5 digits of elevation here. We're already at 9,500 feet and we've got a ways to go, as you can see. I don't know if this car has ever been at 5 digits of elevation under my ownership. I don't think so. We've crossed over 10,000 feet and we're getting close. The road up here near the top is getting a little bit crazy. Unfortunately, the smoke seems to be worse here. I gotta say, the stairs on this one are sketchier than some of the ones that have been closed. Man, this would be a good view if the smoke would blow out. I mean, it's already a good view, but you can just see the potential. I always love seeing the geo markers up here. Gotta assume that's the John. No need to assume. Dude, those are all dead bees on the floor. That's crazy. Also, I don't know if it gets busy up here or what, but they have like a parking lot. I have been hearing what I think is quite a bit of clunking coming from up in this corner. It appears our plastic insert here is flexed a little bit and our bolts are loose. That could be it. Might as well make sure we get this side while we're here. Yeah, those are a little loose. The next lookout is only at 10,000 feet. We're at 10,800 right now. And Blackhall Mountain, our final destination for the day, is at about the same altitude. I don't know, man. I'm tired after last night. I don't know if we're gonna make it, but we've got to try. Absolutely crazy. The annoying thing is, in my categorization for lookouts I've been to, I do have a section for fogged or smoked in, and I'm gonna have to mark these as that, which means it sure would be nice to come back someday. All right, I'm gonna mob out these miles. I'll get back to you once we're down at the bottom. Oh, finally, nice, smooth gravel. Holy crap, I think we're coming up to a paved road for a few miles. What the heck? We're at the same altitude as that fire lookout, but we're on pavement now. go again. We're already at 9,000 feet again, so over the next probably 5 or 10 miles, we only have 1,000 feet to gain. I'm really hoping this is an easy one. I could use an easy win right now. There are some concerning noises coming from the front left. Wow, we're really close. We have our turnoff up here, and it looks like we're going to be gaining quite a bit of elevation in the last little bit, but at least the road is short. There's our sign, just a half mile. It says available by reservation only, and there is a vehicle up there. Well, no one hollered down to invite me up, and I don't want to intrude too much, so I guess it's just like that. We're on to the next one. We have about 50 miles until our next lookout. I don't know who planned this trip. Yesterday I planned about a 220 mile drive, mostly on the highway. Today I planned a 250 mile drive, mostly on dirt. What was I thinking? All that said, there's only one thing to do, and that's to get out of here. We have quite a ways on roads kind of like this, and then we cross another highway, and then we have a lot of climbing to do on a road that is marked as in very poor shape. I'm a little nervous. We'll see how it goes. This lake is like pretty decently sized. There's a lot of recreation around it. Dude, I'm loving Wyoming, man. Driving through the remnants of a forest fire like this is always just surreal. The road is very curvy up here, and I'm guessing we lose a lot of elevation very quickly. That's very kind of them to move out of the way. Why does the road get worse as we're getting closer to the highway? Well, isn't that just pretty? Well, I guess this is why the road was so bad. There's nothing down here except for private property, and I don't think there's any other way to get to the highway. I just hate how private land can get in the way of actually getting anywhere. Like, I cannot cross this river and get to the highway that's just a few miles away because there's private land. I also just hate how it's impossible to know which private land is going to be okay to drive through and which stuff is going to have gates like this. Like, I've driven through so much private land on this trip, and it just says, hey, stay on the road, we're cool. But here it's like, no, you can't come in at all. It's frustrating. Yep, nothing connects up here except for that one stupid road through the stupid private property. We have to backtrack for a long ways so we can get out. Oh my God, where are you going? The cows are like, we walking here. I'm tired. We originally came from the left, and now we're gonna be going to the right. Hopefully we can get out of here. It looks like we should be able to, but I thought we should be able to get out over there too. Well, this is promising. We just got back onto a road that appears to be wider and better maintained. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but we might be able to make it tonight. 2 miles to the highway. We have escaped, or at least almost. We'll have to stop and reevaluate the route into the next lookout at that point. Well, we've made it to pavement. We have about 20 miles, and then I've got to make up my mind if I want to attempt this final lookout, or if the car might not make it, I don't know. Or if I might not make it. I am exhausted today. We have just entered Colorado, which I have not found a geocache in, so we might try to find one of those if I get any service at any point. I didn't realize we were going this far south. Well, I guess we weren't supposed to, were we? I feel like I need to prepare you for what you're about to see. You're about to see me just about give up on the road trip. In fact, I do at one point. However, I do change my mind in a little bit here, and we do attempt the final lookout. You'll have to stick around to see if the Volvo and me actually make it up to it. I am going to leave in my thought process here, as I think it's important to show how exhausted I was and how concerned I was about the Volvo's longevity. All right, here's the plan. I think that I am emotionally divested in this trip at this point. And what I mean by that is I'm ready to be home, and I don't think I would enjoy visiting this final lookout as much as I would if I came back another time. Sure, it's a long ways from home, but I think I would enjoy it more in the future. I think that's the right choice. I think we're going to head home. So I've pulled over here. We're gonna pop out the air compressor, get the tires aired up, and hit the road for home. See how far we make it tonight, and then get home tomorrow. Not before we find a geocache in Colorado, though. course, to tide me over until dinner, we only have the most healthy of stacks. We have about 8 minutes to the geocache, and then we'll hit the road for home and try and find somewhere to camp. All right, we have made it. It appears to be at some sort of sign that has seen better days. Oh, it's a nano. That just means it's tiny. Well, you might have seen it already. Let me show you where it is. I did not expect it to be so deep in there, just put in plain sight. Colorado, baby. Well, we made it back to Wyoming, which means the speed limit goes back up to 70. We're going to the last watchtower. We're about 10 miles from the turnoff where I had to decide, and I found a shorter route that's only 20 miles of off-roading each way, so 40 miles of off-roading total. I'm pretty confident that it will actually work. I can't bring myself to go 14 hours home when there's just one tower left. I'm gonna air down again just so it's easier on the car, and we're gonna camp in this area and then drive the entire 14.5-hour drive home tomorrow. What Joel said right there about driving home tomorrow is actually somewhat important. I had planned to visit 19 fire lookouts on this trip. We already did not get to one because of private property. However, there was one more that I was going to camp at tomorrow night to split up the drive. However, we're not going to do that, so, well, update the counter. I'm not too worried about this one as it is in a clump of a bunch of other fire lookouts, so we'll return to it and all those others at a future date. I just saw a sign. This road is even named after the mountain we're climbing up. I think this is the right choice. I'm glad I changed my mind. Well, we'll see how it goes at least. Can you not? Guys, can you? I think I've spotted the fire lookout, and it looks insane. I don't know if we made the right choice, man. We're about halfway in now. We got about 10 miles left, I think. I didn't get it on camera, but there was a sign pointing us in this direction to the lookout, and usually when there's a sign, it means it's easier rather than harder. Knock on fake wood trim. I believe, according to my map, the last 2 miles is what becomes rough. We'll have to see. I think that if we make it, I'm gonna be so glad I did. This watchtower looks so rad. This is where the road starts to get rough, at least according to my map. So far, not so bad. We are starting to get steep here, but it is fairly smooth still, not a lot of rocks. The way that thing's perched up on that rock makes me nervous. It's giving me flashbacks to yesterday, which was really fun, but I don't want to do it again right now with this car making weird noises. We have crossed back over 10,000 feet in elevation, but this lookout is nearly at 11,000 feet. The road has gotten worse, but we are getting close. The other thing is, I don't know if I'll be able to camp up here or not. We might have to come back down the mountain partway and find somewhere to camp or something. We're still only at 10,300 feet, and we're getting really close. I'm really nervous about how steep the last portion of this road's gonna be. All right, this cooler has grated on my nerves, sloshing about enough. I don't care about the thermal mass, I'm draining it. 400 feet of elevation to go. Oh, you're just back to that rocky bullshit. Man, look at that thing, it's just majestic. I keep thinking the road's gonna stop and then it keeps going. All right, now this is getting to be to the level of yesterday, but we are so close. Control is not coming in clutch right now. Maybe we can just bump it. No, we've got to pick a different line here.
enjoy the fruits of our labor. Well, this is another reservation one, and I don't see any cars here. Let's go to recreation.gov and see if we can reserve it for tonight. Well, it says it's reserved online, but I don't see anyone up here. I'm gonna go take a look. Maybe they're just out and about. We are at 11,020 feet right now. Okay, it doesn't look like anyone's staying here right now. It is chilly up here, man. Even though we made it up here today, I don't think this is our last visit. I'll have to compile a list of all of the towers that are reservable, and maybe I'll make a road trip out of that or something. You'll notice that there's no aerial footage of this location. It's very windy, and the drone was complaining at 10,000 feet, let alone 11,000. Don't want to lose my drone today, so sorry about that. I really wish I could get some. Well, as long as the people who reserved this place don't show up, I would like to stay at the top here in case it clears up tomorrow. However, I'm not even gonna try to pitch the tent because, oh well, we saw how that worked in the wind, but I do have a different idea. Well, before I figure out the sleeping situation, I'm gonna walk back up to the tower here and just spend some time up there enjoying the view in case any people do show up and I'm unable to do that. This has got to also be one of my favorites. I think I liked the one from last night better, but only because of the metal stairs. I don't like 11,000 feet. Even with all the smoke, it's still a pretty damn good view. One-handed, baby. Why are those always so heavy? I was kind of wandering around and getting a great view of this lake, but I also found the geological survey marker. We're on the opposite side of the tower from where the Volvo is. That lake with the smoky sun reflecting off of it is gorgeous. I really enjoy hanging out up there, but it sure is chilly. I think I also need to get the car ready for me to sleep in, because if you hadn't figured it out, that's what I'm thinking I'll do tonight. I just think that's the best way to deal with the wind if I can make it work, which I really don't know. We'll have to see if I can make enough room for me to lay down. A little bit more level for now, at least. So I think to make this work, I really am just gonna have to just about unpack everything from the car and reload it in a way where I can sleep. Still don't know if I'm gonna have enough space. Well, the conversion, if you can call it that, is complete. Now we just need to wait until dark and see if the people who are supposed to be staying in this thing show up, so if we can camp up here or if we need to camp down there. And we even have a really bright moon again. Well, you might have noticed I didn't have much of nutritional value today, and that is not about to change. We're gonna be home tomorrow if all goes well. I can be nutritious then. I guess I'm gonna hang out in here for a while and look at the view out the windows and watch some videos and see if anyone shows up. And if they do, I'll head down. If they don't, I'll sleep up here, I guess. All right, I believe it is time that we go to the flattest spot that isn't completely in the way, and I'll show you my new digs. I don't think this is very flat. Man, the moon's so bright, even you can see me. So this is really convenient. The first thing you do is you take the garbage and you put it in the front seat. It's about the same difference as if I were driving, right? Next, you take the spare gas can, put it outside. Then you fold down your bed, your mattress, and your sleeping pad, and cram all the stuff that fell down back up onto the shelf. And don't worry, we have extra foot heating material known as the spare jackets. Then you take your shoes off and put them presumably somewhere, I guess up here on the shoe shelf. This is, of course, as you scooch across your dusty bumper, and then you can just climb into your ever so cramped, cozy home. And then we lock the doors. Your house doesn't have remote locking, does it? And then I even have a nightstand with included refreshments. Jokes aside, let me actually get settled in here and tell you how it is. You know what? With my head right up against the headrest of this seat here, I actually can fully stretch out. I'm of course not going to promise anything, but there might be a Volvo camper build in the distant future. I like the idea of car camping, but I just wasn't sure that this space in here was big enough, but maybe it is. Maybe I should have slept like this the whole trip. I guess we will find out in the morning. That's it for me tonight. I will see you tomorrow. Oh, good morning. It's quite chilly, and I don't know if you could hear, but the wind has definitely picked up, so I think being in the car was the right choice. I slept pretty well. I did realize that once I actually put my head down here, you notice it's not up near the headrest. I cannot stretch out any longer. So I think if I were to sleep in this thing more, I would need to take out the seat bottom here. Well, considering we've got 15 hours of driving to do today, I guess I'd better get up and get moving.
Well, before I freeze here, let's go take one last look from the catwalk of the lookout and then hit the road. We've got about 15 hours of driving to do today. Unfortunately, I think the smoke is even worse this morning. Sorry for the heavy breathing noises. 11,000 feet, baby. All right, let's hit the road. Dude, I'm so out of breath. That obstacle is the only really bad one on this trail. The car is telling us 30 miles till empty, but considering we just drove it way uphill, that's going to be skewed downwards. So I'm hoping that goes up and we can make it to a gas station, but if not, we do have the 5 gallons in the boot. Well, we're back to the main gravel road. We have probably about 17 miles here, and then we'll be hitting the pavement and just putting down mile after mile. That view is unreal. There's just something weird about it. It's just so crazy. Oh dear. Just about back to the highway. Gotta air up and then we'll be on the road.
Having like an alarm like every 3 minutes going off, or
Well, we are on the road for home. I'm gonna stop at the first fuel station I see, and then we're gonna put down some miles. The noises have gotten worse. It seems to only be when I like turn a lot while not moving. It's like crunchy. And we are back on the road. If all goes well, we should be home before 9. We're actually gaining an hour back because we are crossing back over a time zone. Friend! Coming up to I-80. On to the interstate. Yay, construction. We are coming into Boulder, and no, I didn't get lost. We are not in Colorado again. We are coming into Boulder, Wyoming. I think it might be slightly smaller than its Colorado counterpart. Population of 115. We are entering the Teton National Forest. I don't think we're going through the national park, but the National Forest, which I believe is south of the National Park. So that just happened to the sunroof. I just fixed this thing. Try it again here. Okay, now I'll take the shot that I actually wanted to get. Well, let's hope that doesn't become a larger problem. It isn't quite like the Pacific Northwest, at least for me, because that's where I grew up, but it still is absolutely beautiful out here. I wish it weren't so smoky though. about 45 minutes until our next fuel stop. I wish I could tell you how long till home, but Google will not tell me the ETA for both at the same time, so I'll update you when we get fuel.
Now you're out of time.
22.5 miles per gallon, baby. I think the average for the trip, thanks to all the off-roading, has been like 18.
We've got about 7 hours till we get home, which means one more fuel stop. I was gonna grab some food in there, but just nothing looked good, so I might just go hungry. We'll see how it goes.
Are we driving past the Climb headquarters, like the motorcycle gear company?
I guess editor Joel will have to fact check that and tell you on screen here. That's cool. I think I own some of their gear.
Welcome to Montana.
The Continental Divide, Montana. Of course, we'll be passing back through the Idaho Panhandle before we get home. The smoke is getting worse, I think, but it's kind of a pretty view out the window in an odd way. About 5 hours away from home. One more fuel stop. We've made it back to I-90. All right, just 4 hours left. Just cruising down I-90 all the way to home.
Yeah, I think
Okay, so that.
No, it's the end of 80-mile-an-hour speed limits. They're so sweet while they lasted. Dude, I love mini trucks. They're so tiny. Well, as you might have figured out by the fact that we're getting off the freeway, it's time for our final fuel stop, and I might try to grab a bite to eat or something.
Why do our gas nozzles fling fuel everywhere when you're just using them normally?
I didn't grab any food because this just in, gas station food sucks. Why do none of the sandwiches have any vegetables on them? So I'm just gonna go hungry for the last 2.5 hours of the drive. That's not that long, we'll make it. Over the course of the day, even with stops, I have managed to shave off about an hour from our drive. Our original ETA was 9 o'clock Pacific time, and now it is 8 o'clock Pacific time. Not that I would ever exceed the speed limit or suggest that you do. We made it back to Idaho. This section of I-90 is wild. Nice. Well, as we drive through the beautiful Idaho Panhandle, I want to thank you for watching and mention that you should subscribe if you want to see more adventures like this, or if you want to see us figure out what's clunking in the Volvo. Of course, like the video if you like it, and leave a comment down below. Actually, let me know your favorite part. I want to know what you like to see. Hey, that's where the Crown Vic adventure started. If you haven't seen that video, you should go watch it. We visited 2 lookouts in that one, and the Crown Vic almost died. Well, we kind of could have died too. There's nothing like pulling into the town where you live after a long drive on the last day of a long road trip. We've made it to the home state, Washington. One last urban off-roading. Thanks again for watching. Cut to me unloading this thing almost certainly tomorrow, because I'm going inside taking a shower. Well, it's been a few days, but it's time to unload. I'm really curious how much the car is squatting from all the stuff we've got in it, so I'm gonna set up the camera like this so we can find out, because I think I want stiffer rear springs. It definitely looks like a difference to me, and I also took out the cooler before I started recording tonight because of all the cold stuff. We might be getting some heavy-duty rear springs. There it is. That is the XC70 Fire Lookout Adventure complete. I can't believe the car made it home in one piece, honestly, after all we put it through, though. We did break some stuff, and now I have an idea for some improvements that I want to make, so make sure to get subscribed if you want to see that, or if you want to see us take it on adventures in the future. There also is Patreon and YouTube memberships where you will see those adventures early, as well as get a bunch of behind-the-scene footage from this trip. Of course, you know where the like button is if you liked the adventure, and leave a comment down below if you've got any additional insight. Again, thanks so much for watching. This has got to be the biggest project that I've undertaken on this channel. I've never done a camping trip solo that long and that far away from home before. All right, that's all. I will see you next week.